Morning, everybody. A lot of things going on right now in the world. Not just what we know about, but subtle things. Things that might not get that much attention, that maybe deserve a lot more attention than the things that are getting attention. I'll start with something in the Jewish world. Maybe I'll make separate videos. I could probably make 3 videos about what I want to talk about today. Try to keep them all short, as difficult as that is for me. I just talk. I don't write any scripts. I don't plan ahead. Plan ahead maybe a little bit. Well, this is what I want to talk about. An incredible thing happened, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, in the Ukraine, in Berditchiver. Just mentioning the name Berditchiver, according to Hasidic tradition, brings tremendous blessings. It's similar to how the Mishnah in Yuma mentions that they would say Ad Shebechevron, that when the priests were looking to see had the sun risen yet and was it time to perform certain sacrifices. And from Jerusalem they would mention Hebron, because in Hebron are buried the Avos Ha'olam, are buried the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Bechel, and Leah, and according to some traditions, Adam and Eve are buried there. I was there once. And in a similar vein, our great defense attorney, Berditchiver ben Soshem in Berditchiver, not only served as Rav in Berditchiver, but he's buried in Berditchiver. And so just mentioning Berditchiver brings blessings into our lives, just like mentioning Hebron. And for sure to mention the name of this great saint, Berditchiver ben Soshem in Berditchiver, the Heilige Berditchiver Rav, brings blessings into our lives. And I was there once in Berditchiver, and I'll tell you something. It was Erev Rosh Hashanah. You can imagine, such a holy time to go to our great defense attorney and ask that he pray before the heavenly court on our behalf and plead our case. That same night I was in Mezhbuzh by the Holy Baal Shem Tov, and we were staying in Uman, because the whole world goes to Uman to Rabbi Nachman. And I've always been a big chassid of the Berditchiver, as much as I try to be. I can't say I'm a Berditchiver chassid, but I try to be a chassid of the Berditchiver. I try to have a devotion to the Berditchiver as one of our great real patron saints. And I was there in Berditchiver. I didn't feel something didn't feel right. I don't know. And I was there with a very holy family, the tzaddikim. Hidden tzaddikim. I remember we were there, and the certain tzaddik, I'm not going to mention his name, his brother was a little bit more famous, and his brother was nifter this year. I was trying to get a hold of this tzaddik who I know to be Menachem Avel something. I couldn't find any contact from him anymore. It's not beshert with the kesher I had to this particular current living tzaddik. I hope he's still alive. And his family, old tzaddikim, ehrliche, chassidish Yidden, authentic people that I had a kesher with for a number of years, and just would always happen to meet them at the appropriate times when the Berditchiver Shalom wanted. And he was there with his sons. They're all his holy people in in Uman, and we went together to Mezhbish and Berditchiv, and we sang Gad von Avram, and we sang Rebbeinu Shalom L'chvil Machen mit dir Beit, Efsho Chadudala. I don't remember. We were making our devotions to the Berditchiver, and I'll tell you, I didn't feel it. And even my family has a kesher to the Berditchiver. You know, as I mentioned before, that my holy Zeta, the Kruler Rov, and particularly the Rebbitzin got a bracha from Berditchiver. So we get around this truck. Let's see, is it safe? And so I just didn't feel it, and now I think I have the answer. And it was interesting. After Rosh Hashanah, went to Polnoy and we went to Shpetivka, and in Shpetivka by our Pinchas Koritzer, I felt a tremendous assurance. It's not that I'm not sensitive to these things. By our Pinchas Koritzer, I was in another world. And then when I went many years later with my wife, we went to Prague. I was by Maral in Prague, the Zeta. Also, it was something otherworldly. It was a different thing. It was a different experience there. And at the time, I didn't know I was an Einikel from Maral. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. What happened yesterday in Berditchiv, maybe a lot of people heard, maybe a lot of people didn't hear. So now, you know, you don't have the big crowds going, making these pilgrimages. And so by the mausoleum of the Berditchiver, they were doing some renovations, I think something with plumbing or something, I don't know exactly what it was. And in the middle of the floor, they were digging, and they found this. They found that where, you know, because when we were there in Berditchiv, we went there by there's a matzeva there, and it's by the wall, and we were assuming that's where the Rebbe is buried. The Heilige Berditchiver Rav is buried there, over by the wall of the mausoleum, and they dug. I just saw video and pictures, and they found that he's buried in the middle of the mausoleum, in the middle of the oil. Him and his sons, Reb Meir, other tzaddikim. And it's an incredible find. So anyway, I was reading, I believe it was Yeshiva World News, Matzav, one of the websites, had a story there. He wouldn't tell who he heard this from, but an interesting story. It's not one of those stories you have to believe, especially with all the details there. But it's an interest, and also that we hear it after the fact. Don't have to believe such a thing. I don't know if I believe it, but it's a good story. And it's worthwhile to tell it, whether we believe it or not. It's worthwhile to speak of these things. Because it's a beautiful story. And there's certainly some kind of mythological truth to it, even if there's not a logical truth to it. So Darton, there was a Yid, it was an Einikel from Heilige Berditchiver. It was a descendant, a scion of the Berditchiver Rov. And he tells the story that 7 years ago he made the pilgrimage there to his ancestor. And somehow he couldn't bring himself to enter into the oihel, to enter into the mausoleum. And it's a strange thing. The strangest part of the story to me is that he wound up sleeping the whole night in the cemetery, which we're discouraged from doing, to put it lightly. Talmudic sources certainly discourage people from sleeping in cemeteries. It is what it is. He did it. And he had a dream. And he saw the visage of his holy ancestor, the holy Berditchiver. And the holy Rebbe, Gezuk, mein Kind, my son, my child, why aren't you coming in to see me in the oil? And the Yitzhak Zayda, grandfather, something is telling me in my heart that you're not buried where they say you are, but actually you're buried right in the middle of the oil instead of by the wall where everyone says you are. And the Rebbe, with a big smile, he was dancing. He said, "Mein Kind, my son, my child, it's true. I'm buried, as you say, in the middle of the oil. And Jews are coming, and they're stepping on me, and I love it. I'm holding up these Jews. Have more and more come with me. Come, tell more and more Jews to come visit me, more and more and more, so I can hold them up." And there's a big smile, beaming, shining, with a saintly glow. He danced away, shouting more and more and more, getting louder and louder, more and more and more. That's the way the story is written. You can find it online. Not verified, I don't know. And now we see. Alright, it would have been more impressive if we heard about this before. But we see. So the story goes together. Now you know the rest of the story, right? I don't know what this means, but to me, I'm not. People who know me know I'm not a fan of eschatology and signs and this and that, and I get very uncomfortable when people get obsessed with eschatology. But this has to be something. There has to be something here. I don't know what it is. I'm even considering. I don't like to bother Rabbi Weinberger, but I'm considering asking him. It's funny, the Kalavar Rebbe has Lou Gehrig's disease, and I have less problem sending an email to Zainiglach and asking to ask him. For some reason, I feel like asking Rabbi Weinberger about this. What does this mean? I don't know what it means. I don't know if he knows what it means. He's going to say it means Mashiach is coming. Mashiach's coming either way. So maybe I shouldn't even bother asking him because I know what he's going to say. Right? That's why I never ask him anything, because I know what he's going to say. Which is important too, to have a Rebbe that you know what he's going to say. Because then you don't need to ask and he's still your Rebbe. Because you know what he's going to say. But there's a Heichel Shemaim Levi Yitzchak and Sar Sasha. That's what's brought down this far. And it's been opened and revealed. It's the Sanagorian Shli Yisrael, the defense attorney for the Jewish people. I feel so bad that I've said negative things. Let's open up and uncover that what's been buried, of saying good things, of finding favor. So it's true. what the Holy Satmar says, that there's also different Kanois in the Kedushas Levi, which is true. The Kedushas Levi is Gevena Groise Kanoi, but also like Satmar says, the echte Kanoi is Mole Ahava. The real zealot is the one who's filled with love and joy and happiness. That's the real zeal, that's the real zealotry. Someone who loves everybody, like the holy Berditchiver. We should all be zeicher to Hizakai Bedin and to uncover this hidden aspect of love, devotion and defense and happiness and goodness in the world. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. We'll see you later. 16 minutes. What I meant to be a 3-minute video. Let's see what happens next. All right. Thank you for watching.